Lesson 5, the Pantheon of Egyptian Gods and Goddesses. So today's schedule is we did some notes on the Egyptian gods and goddesses and also watched a quick video on Pharaoh King Tut. And with any time left at the end, watch the CNN 10. So the I can statement was I can name and describe 12 Egyptian gods and goddesses. The activity today is one that's called a gallery walk. So I hung up posters around the room of 12 different Egyptian gods and goddesses. And of course, that's not all of them. The Egyptians believed in hundreds of gods and goddesses. So they were a polytheistic religion, which means they believed in more than one god. So I hung up 12 of kind of the more important, more known gods and goddesses around the room. And the students had to move around with clipboards and write down a little bit of information about each one. Here's a sample from a previous year. So Ra had the falcon head and a sun disk and was probably the most important god, the sun god. Isis was a protective goddess, the sister and wife of Osiris. Bastet has a cat head, so that's cool. Ma'at had the feather on her head, the feather of truth, and when you died, your heart was weighed on a scale against the feather of Ma'at, and it had to be lighter than Ma'at's feather for you to be able to have an afterlife. More on that when we talk about mummies. Anubis has the jackal head and was the god of embalming and the dead. Osiris is one of the main gods. He is the brother and wife of Isis. He was tricked and killed by his brother Set and cut up into a bunch of pieces. And his loving wife Isis went around Egypt and found all of the pieces. And with the help of Anubis and Thoth, she was able to put Osiris back together and make him into the first mummy of Egypt and bring him back to life. And he rules as the ruler of the underworld and the god of the dead. Hapi is like shown as either a baboon or kind of a pot-bellied man. He's the god of the Nile inundation or the floods. And of course, it's the floods that bring all the food. And so he always has kind of a pot belly. Ptah is the god of craftsmen and skilled workers. Horus is the son of Osiris and Isis, and the sky god. Also has a falcon head. And was important in Egypt because the Egyptians believed that the pharaoh was Horus living on the earth. Sekhmet is the goddess of war, and she has kind of a lioness head. Hathor is the goddess of love. It's a human woman, and she has a headdress with a sun disk with animal horns and a cobra, because what says goddess of love like cow horns and a cobra? And Thoth was the ancient Egyptian god of hieroglyphics and writing and knowledge.